guys, what's up? So, doing a live stream again. This time we are doing the second part of replacing the guts on the arcade. Now, on the last video, I had to take it down for a while because I had my Malwarebytes key. I made sure to hide the Windows key and stuff like that while I was installing so nobody could steal that. But then I opened up my file where I have my license keys for my Malwarebytes. Now, I was able to edit the video and cut that chunk out, but I had to take it offline for a while. So I've remade it public. Or did I? Let me glance at that real quick to make sure that I did make it public. But what we're going to do tonight... See, I did not make it public again. I fixed the edit, and I did not make it public. So let me switch the property on that real quick. Where did it go? That's right, I have to hit it from my Creator Studio. So in any case, looks like we got two people on here. And I'm fine with that because it'll give us a chance to also get a little more people in here. Let's see. So here's the video. And where's my privacy setting? Well, damn it. Alright, let people jump in here. Let them jump in here. And then I'm still not seeing where in the hell. I need the properties of that video. And then this thing's taking forever. Come on. Sorry, you're getting the other audio. YouTube's a little bit slow at the moment. Let's see. Here it is. Let's change that. Edit. Okay, I'm in the right screen. I have enhancements, audios, cards, subtitles, video information. Enhancements, no. Info and settings. Should be there. I'll get back to the actual content in a moment, I swear. But again, it's getting people a chance to jump in here anyway, so that's fine. Let's go to my dashboard. I think it might be in there. Arcade parts, part 1, edit, setting, nope, cancel. I swear it's under Video Manager. Gotta edit the privacy setting. Is what I'm looking to do. Oh, I think if I click on the video and then click on the name and get to the drop down, then I should be able to change this. Edit video from here. No, see, it's taking me back to this. It's taking me back to the screen. Oh, there it is. Dropped. It's been right in front of me the whole time. Okay, so save. All right. So part 1 is now back up on the channel. So let me also adjust and for now put on the little overlay so you guys know it's live. Right there. It's weird when it's kind of like a mirror. It's live. So, where was it? All right, recap. So in part 1, what we did is pulled the arcade case or the PC case out of the machine. We took all the guts out of it, and then I've got the motherboard here, so we're going to actually look at it and kind of inspect it. Again, the reason for me upgrading the PC in the arcade was because originally when I built the system, it was a little bit unstable. I couldn't figure out why. Nothing in BIOS would show up and tell me why I was having a problem. It would just shut down randomly and reboot. So it was a little unstable, but it was my arcade machine that I was never heavily using, so I wasn't really concerned about it. Well, my daughter is starting to get more into computers. We had a laptop in her room for a while, and she really just didn't care for it. But this PC will stand to be a good PC for her to use, but also to be the arcade. And she loves streaming from it and doing little live streams with her, playing Roblox and stuff like that. So I've added some cameras and stuff like that, but again, I want to keep its core functionality as an arcade. But I want her to be able to, I want it to be useful for any things other than just an arcade as well. So I need the machine to be stable. She's been in the middle of a stream and it's crashed on her. I've been trying to do a video, and again, I don't like editing videos as much anymore. I like just being able to record it straight through and then get it out so I can try to start generating more content again. So I was like, okay, we got to replace the parts inside this PC. But as I was replacing the parts, I've gone through a couple changes of what I'm going to do with the machine, and I'm going to update you on that shortly. But yeah, so the machine needs to be stable. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to get my thoughts together here. So in any case, got the machine out, took the parts out, got the motherboard in, got Windows installed on it. The new machine is a Ryzen 5 2600X, and it's got NVMe for the 2 first drives, and then a 4 gig drive to store the ROMs on. So that'll be way faster than it was before. But I'm also trying to get it, so I have this monitor that sits to the side of the arcade that will be in a portrait mode so my daughter can watch chat messages and stuff while she's streaming. But I want that to be more of a portable unit that can be just added on and taken off the arcade very easily. So one of the issues I was running into is I added these cameras, and I added the extra keyboard and mouse and the 2 cameras because she has one so she can Skype with her brother and they can chat and see each other, and then 1 camera for her stream. Well, it was giving back resource errors. The host controllers run out of resources. So I knew I was going to have to put another USB card in there or consider upgrading the whole motherboard and probably still put a USB card in there. So that's what led me to also upgrading the machine. Well, in doing the reinstall of Windows, I got all the drivers installed, everything was looking good, and then again, I showed the Malwarebytes key. So Malwarebytes was nice enough to give me a new key and deactivate the old one. So even though I edited that part of the video, if it was seen before, then that key is now useless, so that makes me feel better. Yeah. So another part of the arcade that was really annoying to me, very annoying, is if it was left running, I could hear it. And as soon as you power it up, you would hear that thing. And that, as I was rebuilding the new PC, I noticed I couldn't even tell if the machine was running unless I peeked through the drive bays that are now empty, and I could see the lights on the motherboard were lit up. So I was like, crap, this noise the whole time has been exclusively just 2 fans that were way too damn loud. So what's happened is I've also been rebuilding my gaming case, the one I'm streaming from now, because I wanted to try to see about adding a second video card to handle the encoding of OBS so I would have less lag in my games. However, I did that install yesterday, got a new case, got some new cooling fans that are RGB for my gaming case, and my gaming case looks amazing now, and you can't see any wires. It's just beautiful. But I took my old fans out of there, and I upgraded my son's computer, and on my Facebook page I have a picture of him helping me install the fans. It's real cute. But I took the fans out of his computer that came with his case, and I replaced the ones in the arcade case. And now that machine's almost silent. So I could hear the arcade was running a little bit from upstairs. So another thing I'm really looking forward to is now the arcade will actually run very quietly, which I'm looking very much forward to. So anyway, the case of what we're going to do tonight is we're going to look at the motherboard that came out of the case, get the exact specs off of it, see if I can see anything offhand to explain why it was having the reboot issue. I'm thinking when I first installed this chip that I might have bent a pin and then I bent it back. On one processor in the past, I've done that. And it booted up, so I thought everything was fine. But if this happens to be that motherboard where I did try to bend the pin the one time, that could explain why it's rebooting, in which case a very cheap used processor could fix the problem. But what I plan to do with I bought a case, a very cheap case, to put the arcade components in and try to stabilize so that I can have get rid of the 2 laptops that I currently have sitting on the other side of the room. And this will be my machine that contributes to a render farm that I contribute to, so that I can earn points to render my stuff. So that's my goal for this machine. Also, it could be a spare little gaming machine. Now, as far as my OBS test of the second video card, that failed horribly. I forgot that when you put in the second video card, it cuts down your PCI lanes in half. So it slows down the max capacity of that PCI lane to the card. So I wasn't getting any real performance benefit. So as a result, when I built my wife's PC about 2 or 3 days ago, and I took the 1050 Ti out of the arcade, that's what I had before, and I gave it to my wife. And I was going to get, was planning to upgrade the arcade to have a 1660 Ti. However, I'd also bought a 2060 Ti, or 2060 to put into my gaming machine for rendering. Since that's not going to work, I'm going to put the 2060 or RTX 2060 in the arcade. So I'll actually be able to do some basic ray tracing on the arcade, which would be nice because I can test some of the games that have ray tracing, and it'll just completely blow away the 1050 Ti that I had in the machine. So like if I look real quick, 2060 GeForce 2060 versus 1050 Ti. And I love user benchmark. That thing's just amazing. But it's a score difference of, well, the score difference doesn't really work because of the level of popularity that the 1050 Ti has, so I can't really use that score. But it's 181% faster than the 1050 Ti. So I'm going to get a major performance boost out of this machine. So it's going to really help those PlayStation 2 emulators and so forth. It's also 90% higher FPS, and it's just going to be way better. So I'm excited about that upgrade. But let's jump into what's different about this old motherboard. I can sit here and talk forever, and hopefully it's part of the reason why you guys like watching my stuff, but also it's so I can hopefully learn something. Okay, so we got a top down here. So this is the board that came out of my machine. And I warn you too, before I go to full-size shots, when I start doing some of the bigger work, my room is a disaster. I built my wife a PC. I've modified my son's PC to put in the fans and take out the fans to use in the arcade. I've rebuilt my gaming machine completely into a new pretty case with a glass window, which I didn't have before, and it's got the Corsair light-up RGB fans, so it looks pretty. And then, of course, I've got arcade stuff everywhere. So I've got like 3 computer case boxes, 3 motherboards, all kinds of stuff. Now, one thing I also really am excited about is I didn't realize when I was getting these things, on my Mavericks Hideout channel, I do streaming with Justin all the time. And because I bought 2 Ryzen 5s, there was a deal going on where I'm getting 2 copies of Division 2. And I played Division 1 on the PlayStation. I loved it. Justin played Division 1 as well, so we're both excited. Well, we're kind of like, well, that would be really cool, but I don't know if I want to spend the money on Division 2. You know how it goes. So to find out I'm getting 2 free copies, and I gave one to him, and we'll be able to stream on Mavericks Hideout on Monday on YouTube, on Facebook. So if you're not on the Facebook page also, go to Facebook, look up Mavericks Arcade, and make sure to like and follow there, and then also Mavericks Hideout. like and follow there, and that's where I'm streaming and VR and all that stuff over there. And I'm thinking later tonight, after I'm done with all this, I may play Skyrim VR for the first time. And just heads up, I've never played Skyrim, so I'm really not going to know what the hell I'm doing. But let me get the screwdrivers. Here's my screwdriver, and let's take apart this motherboard. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to catch up on email this weekend so I can start responding back to emails again, because I've gotten really bad about that since my server died. So let's undo this. And again, we're going to look at the condition of those pins to see if perhaps I broke them when I was working on this machine a long time ago. Pull off the fan. One thing that's nice about the arcade fan upgrade too is before they were all just straight powered. They weren't being monitored by the motherboard at all. So with the new fans, it's actually the motherboard's going to know and control their speed, which has not been the case in the arcade before. Alright, so everything looks good there. Nothing funny going on there. Let's flip that over. And let's pop that down. Let's see what the condition of this chip is. Okay, so this is the one that doesn't have pins. This part always screws my eyes, because you gotta look at the pins, but they're so tiny it makes you go like cross-eyed. Is there any pattern, any bent pins in here? Looking for anything to stand out. No, they all look good. Alright. Well, that's a good sign, and nothing smells burnt. Nothing looks burnt. Okay. Carefully set that back. And let's get this remounted. Oh, shoot. We'll have to boot it up because I wanted to get the exact model number, but I don't want to clear the paste off because I don't have any more thermal paste to apply. So in that case, I will just gently get this back on there. Gently put this back on. That didn't work. Okay, that's right. These things pull the pin out so that the plastic can close and then go down in the hole. Pull it all out. Pull it out. And she's closed. Chat messages up here. See what you guys are saying. Alright, so let's see. Let's see if we can get those to fall in line this time. Okay, that one's in there. That one's in there. That one's in there. And that one's in there. So part of the problem is I'm sitting on that. That's in. That's in. Oh, that one didn't go in all the way. That's in. It looks like, yep, they're all in, fully grounded now. So let me tighten down with the board lifted slightly. Because what was happening is the floor of this thing was pushing the pins back through. And they're not going to stay if I do that. Make sure it's got a nice firm grip on the floor here. Ooh. Yeah, that's right. I just kind of fell through a little more aggressively than the others. Shit makes me nervous. Okay, are these all secured? 1, 2. Yes, they are. Alright, so the motherboard's secured again. Now, another thing that's nice is we're upgrading to the, what was it, DDR4? Yeah. And the old chips here are DDR3. Making sure they're all the same, making sure they don't look funny. Nothing smelling funny, nothing burnt. And these are, wait a minute. Okay, so they're 3 gig sticks each. So, well, these two are. This should be dual channel. Alright, so the arcade had 12 gigs of RAM. And we're now going up to, it was originally going to be 16. But when I went back and I got the light kits, I got 16 more gigs of RAM. So the new setup is going to be 32 gigs of RAM. So 190% faster processor, just the GPU. Ryzen 5 2600X, 32 gigs of DDR4, and instead of 5400 RPM drives, it's now going to have 2 NVMe drives and a 4 terabyte drive just to store the ROMs. So this machine should fly, especially compared to this one. But this machine would still be useful because what I'm going to do is, because the arcade is now going to get the 2060, the 1660 Ti that I had planned for the arcade is now going to go in this machine. So this machine will be a decent render farm machine just to sit there and render for other people and earn me points. Also, I can run a little private farm and have my 2 machines and my main machine all rendering frames for me as well. So we've got front panel pins are still bent here. I'll have to fix those. They're bent from I'm not sure actually, but anyway. So what we're going to do next is we're going to make sure that the arcade PC gets a new video card in it, that we have it all set up correctly. We're then going to set up that, like I said, I want a kind of a portable option for my daughter to be able to disconnect and reconnect very easily her extra cameras and her monitor from the arcade to easily attach and remove it. And then we're going to build this PC back into the other box. So that's the game plan for tonight. Definitely stick around with me. I'm going to move this out of the way and let me grab the other arcade. After that. And after a sip of soda. Now, also, if you recall, I'm not worried about the ugliness of the case before I bring it back out of the arcade because it's going to be inside a big wooden box. Oh, nice. My freezer had my soda just a little bit frozen. So, very refreshing. Let me move this out of the way. Move my phone out of the way. And let's get that. Now, one thing I did immediately notice is this motherboard was better than the one I got my son. It was the Pro version that includes Wi-Fi. And they do it by having the connectors on the back, but they have a little Wi-Fi magnet that sticks to the side of the case. And I thought that was really, really cool and convenient. So what I'm doing now is the wireless mouse and keyboard that I've been using for the arcade forever, I've found is extremely good when I'm working on building a machine because I just plug it in and boom. So let me hook up the power and the capture card and the network. Now, does this still have the... Okay, actually first, this has still got the GTX in it. The 1660. So we first need to take that out. And move this stuff back out of the way. And all covered's a company I used to work at. I really should consider getting myself a Mavericks arcade mouse pad made up. Alright. So, hopefully without scratching the desk too bad. Standing over there doesn't really help, does it? Alright, so here's the 1660 video card that we're going to take out. And we're going to put in the... And this is the USB card I got as an add-on card to helpfully alleviate some of those other issues we've been having. Now what I might do to even balance, well, to balance the load even more is I might put the other USB card that I freed up from my machine in. Actually, no, I should keep it available because I may end up needing it on my machine again. Alright, so we're going to disconnect the power from there. And everything's disconnected, so we're going to hit the release on that. And on this board, does it push down? Or does it pull away? It pushes down. Where does it go? No, it ejects. I hate this part. Let me see. Yeah, it pops back. Very carefully. Nah, that wasn't careful. These things did not come up all the way. Come up. It's because that one was half broke. Okay, that makes more sense. Now, I can lift this out carefully. I really hate the way these are on there. Those lockdowns are a pain in the ass. Alright, so this is the little 1660 again. It's one fan, it's the cheapest one they had. But we're going to swap that out. Let me go get the other card. And again, this is a single fan as well. The RTX 2060. And we're going to put this in that place. Now what I'm also curious about when I build my daughter's monitor setup is I would like to make it... There we go. So I heard it latch in there. I push these little things down. And I gotta get that. Go down and twist and lock. Alright, so it's now twisted and locked. And we can give it its power. Alright, that's locked in there good. Now, I do have some of the pieces that were these expansion port covers right here. Let's put those back in. So, when I was considering doing the extra monitor for my daughter, you gotta remember also, this is the machine where I have the capture card that I want to use to capture the work I'm doing when I'm building an arcade or installing the emulators or other sort of work. The problem being, if I want to have a secondary monitor for my daughter to be able to watch text messages and stuff when she's streaming, I'd have to be switching cords around every single time I wanted to record off the capture card versus her playing her games and streaming. So what I decided to do is, since we're only talking about really text and things like that on the secondary monitor, is I'm going to try to take the secondary monitor and stick a USB 3.0 hub onto the back of it. and then having the monitor power and the USB hub be the things that plug in, and then a USB 3 extension cord from the arcade that's already there plug into the USB hub that's mounted to the back of the monitor. And then I'll have a USB to HDMI adapter plugged into the monitor directly and into the hub. So that way the video adapter with the monitor stays self-contained. Also, on the front of the arcade, I have the headphone jack. However, the headphones that we normally use, the connector's a little too thick and it'll pop halfway in and out, or she'll lose the stereo effect in the headphones. So I have already had laying around a USB audio adapter. So on the hub, I'll have the audio adapter too, so her headphones can plug directly into that instead of into the arcade. And then that way she can route the sound and everything through the gaming headset that she uses when she's streaming. So that's my plan for that. Then the cameras would plug into the USB hub. So again, just by removing the power cord for the hub and the monitor and the USB 3.0 cable, then the arcade is standalone. She plugs in the one USB cable and the power, and then she's able to do her streaming, and all the cameras are connected through that method, which is again why I have a separate card to handle that load. And then the arcade equipment can all be resonant to the machine. So that's the idea anyway. We'll see how well that works. Now this machine has the NVMe's. It's got the one large drive. This machine is now ready to go. So we're going to hook this up. And we're going to verify everything on the OS is the way we like it. And then we're going to bring the parts over to build that monitor out the way I want it. So let me set this back here. And again, if you watched the other video, if you were watching it live, you may have remembered. Well, I don't know if I turned the original machine on during that stream. But the original machine, like I said, was loud enough where I could hear it upstairs. This is so much quieter. And now it's on. Now you may hear it a little more. Actually, no, it's not even enough for my Yeti mic, which is extremely sensitive to pick up. So that's awesome. The Yeti mic's not picking it up. It's extremely quiet. My son's case, before we upgraded to and you see now it's popped up on my screen over here. So we can shut off the capture card, or turn on the capture card for now. And yeah, it's working nice and pretty. The resolution is still off because it just got initialized. What happened to my face? Face had gone away. I hit the wrong button. What's that window down there on? What did I have on here? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what this. Oh, that's black spot. There's the computer case. I was looking at this going, what the hell's that window showing up? Oops. Alright, so it's still detecting. Oh, I gotta get the right mouse and keyboard over here. It's still detecting at basic resolution because it hasn't realized that I switched the screen yet. And it doesn't know I can talk to it because the mouse and keyboard's not hooked up yet. Let me plug that in on the top. And I should have. Oh, it's initializing the video now. So it's automatically detecting the 2060. Now, apparently the 2060 has a couple other PCI devices, so we're going to have to actually install the NVIDIA driver for it to be able to, clear up that PCI device issue. Oh, come on, don't be a dick to me again. This machine, let me see. Where's my capture card? Capture card. Deactivate. Reactivate. Come on. Pick it up. Let me, I'm going to use VNC on my main machine to see if it picked up the graphics changes or not yet. It is possible I could just be being very impatient and that happens. Okay, so it did pick up the change. Now what resolution is it trying to do? Display settings. Yeah, 1080. Didn't detect either display. Alright, so let me disconnect and reconnect the HDMI. Let's see if it picks it up now. May have to power cycle it before it does. Let's go ahead and shut this thing down. Power shut down. So one thing that's nice is I put VNC on these machines, one, so that I can troubleshoot and I'll be able to, now that I have the capture card, but I'll be able to control it from here, even though my arcade sits over there. So it allows me that control, but it also allows me, for example, I did the same thing on my son, so he'll Skype with me and I can, from down here, help him fix his computer issues. So it's a little bit lazy. Probably could stand to do some walking, but stairs are so hard. I hate stairs. Alright, so the machine's off, turning it back on now. Let's see if this thing got an ugly blue fan and an ugly red fan, but it's going to be inside a big wood box in there. Looks like the video card's initializing now. At least over there. Come on, don't be jerky. Desktop. Which means I should be able to turn off the capture card, turn it back on, and get a desktop. There we go. Yay! Alright. So, we're going to now, let's say, look at the computer management. What is administrator? I still need to lock down that account. Alright, so it is actually displaying the correct thing, but let's get the GeForce experience anyway. Oh, it would help if I spelled GeForce correctly. GeForce. GeForce experience. So now, run it. Let's expand the size of that capture a little bit. Actually, I do need to make another scene in OBS that has it sized a little bit better. Yeah. I'll work for now. Yes, install. Let's see. Got a nice activated Windows. Arcade. 32 gigs, Ryzen 5. Very nice. As you can see again, NVMe, ROMs. Before I used to have the space all mixed up and finish the other installation. Close. Huh. Looks like I might need to restart first because of pending installation. Well, like I said, I want to fix the email issue this weekend. Get responses out so that I can start addressing emails again. Set back up the rules that I had to auto handle my email and get rid of the junk and stuff. That was part of the problem. Is it gets buried in so much junk that I get a little lazy in responding. I apologize for that. But I'm going to get that fixed, and then the person I bought a bunch of parts from Micro Center was was talking about the arcade and stuff. He got kind of excited, so I exchanged information with him. And sorry, there was a suggestion on YouTube as far as to improve my audio stream is lower than the recommended. Okay, so they're recommending a stream bit rate of 128. What am I at? Stream output audio at 160, so I'm not sure what they're talking about. Oh, that's the other thing I gotta check out too is okay, the audio tracks when you're streaming can only do one. I was curious about the audio track differences. Maybe that's something that during recording alone I would want to do. But why is it still getting Windows ready? Come on. Make sure this isn't that. Okay. There's an issue with the patch where he'll say trying to update your system stage 2 of 2, and you have to hit Control-Delete or else it will completely stay there forever. So be aware if you're patching your machine, you get that weird issue on Windows 10. Try hitting Control-Delete and it may proceed straight to a login. But that's apparently not the case here. Just trying to see it. So on this machine, we're checking to make sure that the driver's installed. And then we're proceeding to the monitor configuration. So I might as well start grabbing some of that stuff at the moment. So let me grab the monitor. And let me see, do I have any power outlets down there? Yep, I do. So here is the monitor I was trying to use. Look at that, and then it comes right up after I put this big fat monitor over here. Let me move some stuff out of the way so you can see my face. Another thing that was funny about doing all this is there's no more optical drives in any of my systems, my main systems. So the arcade machine is also going to serve as, or not the arcade machine, the extra machine I'm going to build is going to serve as the only optical drive I have in the house. So I'll have to try to make images of my discs so that I can okay, OBS is stable. Sorry, I was looking between the screens because the capture card's acting funny at the point that you're seeing now. But it's fine from here. So let me go ahead and launch VNC. And we're going to bring up the computer management properties and look at my device drivers. Properties. Device manager. Okay, so everything looks clean. Everything's installed right there. I did want to install the GeForce drivers before we go any further. Downloads. GeForce Experience. And whoa, that's on my machine. That's not. I thought there was a file there I didn't recognize. I was like, why am I trying to install that on that? That machine doesn't have any of the new Logitech G Hub. Like, that machine doesn't have any of the Logitechs. Well, not the ones that qualify for that. Alright, so GeForce Experience does not install via that. GeForce. And obviously I'm going to upgrade the browsers on this machine later. I do not subscribe to Edge. I'm actually considering going back to Firefox, because people are saying that that's good again. It's here. Ow. Okay, so I'm not sure if you're seeing an ad or not right now, I just saw that button, and that's weird. So if you guys are coming back and you see an ad, let me know. I probably need to do a test stream at some point and see how that button works. I'll have to check that. Because that could be useful if I was like, hold on, let me go get a soda. I could hit that button before I go get a soda. Because obviously, while I hate pushing ads, it's the fact of the matter of if I want to try to earn any money off this to put back into arcade parts, because the amount of money I spent this week. Shh, wife's upstairs. But if I could earn enough revenue to help, no way would it even near pay for what I invest, but it could help. Then that would be useful. So yeah, we're doing the game ready drivers and everything like that because this is a ray tracing card, and I'm definitely gonna want to see how that ray tracing plays out. I've seen some of the videos on it. Now, granted, this is only a 2060, so it's not going to be amazing. But I'm also on the arcade only ever going to be streaming in 1920. Now, I learned from the other day, so let me shut the capture card off and shut the keyboard off because I almost messed that up and left that on. And let me go get my GeForce credentials and enter that in. And this way I can hopefully keep this video live and not have to go offline just to edit it because I'm stupid enough to put a key out there. Right? That'd be a good idea anyway. Let's see. Where's my GeForce? There it is. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so it wouldn't be under, I didn't categorize that password. It's under NVIDIA. Okay, so let me see. There should be another one. One for Alex and there's one for, there it is. Okay, so it's this email address. Can I paste it in there? Yes, I can. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to paste using VNC or not, but it did. All right. So now I can turn that stuff back on. And let's automatically, let's not do that right now. Let's skip that. And then we're going to go to drivers and we're going to make sure we got the latest driver. Okay, let's download the latest game ready driver. And that'll be good. But like I said, I'm also really excited because with this new card, this new motherboard and everything in this arcade, I'll be able to actually do videos and know that the damn thing is not going to crash in the middle of it. I saw Gabby streaming the other day. She's playing a game. She's having a good time. She's chatting with people. There's actually a couple people chatting with her, which I was like, good girl. And she's playing, and then she goes, "Ah!" And I'm like, I've told her, I'm like, I don't ever want to hear that type of sound come out of your mouth again. Unless you were running from somebody about to be raped. I don't want to hear it. Now, granted, my daughter's like, oh my God, she just turned 9. And some would be not appropriate, but at the same time, I'm like, don't fucking do that. It's so obnoxious. So anyway, I don't know who has kids, who doesn't here, but yeah, they make some noise and you're just like, oh, shut up. So let's see here. We're installing the NVIDIA drivers, and then once we're done with that, we'll continue on setting up. Now, I'll tell you right now, this monitor over here is an ancient ass gateway monitor. Pretty ugly. Now, while that's doing the driver install, let me adjust my top-down cam. You're going to lose my audio for a moment, and that's because I have to adjust the cam directly. One moment. Top-down cam. All right. So when I was doing all the very close-up motherboard work, the last stream, I zoomed in that screen a little bit. And again, I know my desk is a disaster. Please forgive me for that. But because I'm going to be working with the screen right here, which I'm going to move more into view in a moment, I want to make sure to have the full screen of the desktop available. But what I do need right now is these. Come on, driver. Stall. I've got a very nice connection, but it's still kind of slow. Now, wait a minute. So, what is this other device? So, on the back of here. Oh, this was the device, or the cable, I was using to extend. Nope. That's not it. So ideally, though, I would actually use just a USB 2.0 connection, because I don't think any of the devices I'm going to be plugging into this are USB 3.0. I think they're all 2.0. But in either case, we're going to put that there. We're going to... So this is HDMI. I think I have... Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is this is an HDMI DVI cable, and those... Does this monitor... Oh, because this monitor does not support HDMI. It's that old. Let me get a power cord for both of these. Alright, so these are the cameras. Then I need two power cords. Alright. We need that, and the audio adapter, and the headphones. So, huge mess of stuff over here. A little bit of a mess. Don't worry. I will, if this works, I will zip tie and make everything look pretty. So I got a power strip. And then I've got two power cords. This is the USB audio. And again, this is so that you can use the mic on the headset comfortably without the cord halfway coming out and dropping stereo audio or the internal speakers blasting on the arcade. This is a Logitech C615 that she uses for her stream cam. Oops. This is a really piece of crap old HP webcam from like 2001. But it's really grainy, but it allows her to do Skype with her brother so he can see her face and they can react to each other, and it's disgustingly cute when they're both streaming on their own channels, but talking to each other. It's very cute because they cross promote too. It's so sweet. He's like, check out my sister's channel at blah blah blah. So very sweet. Okay, so the drivers here are installed, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at this thing. And the first thing I need to do is I need to plug in this power strip. Where's an outlet? I thought I had an outlet on here. Yes, I don't. we're gonna have to go into the green curtain. Power strips connected in. We need to get the headphones off the floor so don't break them. So again, the issue I had when it was plugged into the arcade, because it had 3 controllers on either side. It had the trackball, the joysticks, the ROM controller, the sensor bar, all of those USB devices. I was just running out of resources, so it said, hell no. Now, should be alright. And I don't want to... I only needed one of these. That's right. So we're going to plug in this, and then I'm going to need to get one of the USB hubs. But I'll try the built-in hub first. I'll just need an extension cord. So if I can use the built-in hub, then I won't need a power strip to this unit. But if I have to use an add-on hub, that's going to require a power strip. I need so this is a USB 3.0 extension cable, but these are USB 2.0 ports up on top. Let's go ahead. We're going to plug that in. And then we're going to see what we get. Because I want to try to do... Oh. I do need to do... Because I think this adapter is a USB 3 hub. 3.1. Yeah, it's blue. It's blue. Okay, so I do need a... I'm going to need a more power over on this side. Which is annoying, but understandable. So let me plug this into that add-on card that we did. So that way it has a dedicated host controller to handle that stuff. The extras. Okay. But we can still try to tie as much as we want. Oh, no. I get a controller for I would like to use this thin stick if possible, because then it would just stick right to the monitor, and that would be so very convenient if I can manage to get that to work. Because then I would be able to just stick this right here, and that would actually look real nice too. Well, it's half stuck there now. So then this cord would immediately go up into here. Actually, we can do it up on top here. And by twisting the cord around like this a little bit, it's actually creating enough tension where it's keeping the line nice and in line anyway. Okay, so the power's now on for the monitor in the hub. Ding, ding, ding. It's one of those old ones that had a really annoying sound. And then what we're going to do is we're going to verify that the hub shows up over here after I connect it right here to my extension. And this will just be a wire management zip tie nightmare. Let's see, are we getting the hub? Did it install it that quickly? Let's see down here. USB device not recognized. Okay. Okay, it's doing something now. All right, so ooh. Still failing. See, what's weird is slight movements are causing it to fluctuate. So I'm wondering what that's all about. Is my extension cable the problem? Let's scan again just to make sure. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I can't handle that. I'm in problem. Okay. That looks okay there. Motherfucker. Alright, well, I guess we're not doing this one. Oh. It could also be that. It could be the built-in monitor one. I didn't consider that. Let's take the monitor out of the equation by disconnecting its USB hub. Okay, so yeah, so this hub is not happy. Not a happy hub. So let's try another one. What sucks is because I wanted to use this trim-lined one to really make it look nice, but that's not going to work. So instead, we'll try this one. And pray. So first things first, let's put the hub over here. And we're going to use the extension to kind of hold the hub where we're going to use the end of the extension to kind of hold the hub in place by its USB cable. So we're watching what we've got in there now. Plugging in this hub. A generic hub. Don't give me an error. And don't worry, I can do this without having to show a license key. No license key needed. Actually, the other part might show it, so let me check one moment. Oh, the capture card's off right now, so that's fine. Alright, so it does not look this time like the UBU. It does not look this time like it's screwed up on us. So, what we're now going to do is we're going to plug in the monitor's hub. And the reason why I would like to do that is because these side controllers are up near the top, and then the USB 2.0 devices, if I can use the resources on 2.0 hub instead of the 3.0 hub, it actually uses less resources in the machine than it would otherwise. I found that out the hard way. Alright, so it looks like we've got none of those unrecognized resource issues. So the next big boy, let's see. The big question is going to be how much bandwidth can I throw onto this assembly without really pissing off the controllers. Mac users, do not plug this in until you're fully installed. Well, I don't use a Mac. This one says stop if you experience any problem. Okay. So we got this little adapter, which again, I can screw this or Velcro this to the back of the display. And again, I'm trying to make this whole monitor unit thing self-contained as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this into a portrait state because that's the way we're going to use it. And And that way, on the video card itself, it will always be able to be in a the video card itself will always be in a cloned state. The main monitor showing up on the arcade, the second port being going to the capture card so I can capture it to make videos. And then this is going to be exclusively used as an extended display so that my daughter can read the chat messages and all that other happy stuff. So what I may end up doing is I need to get a little tiny DVI to HDMI adapter, like that short, and that way I can just locally jump it right here and get to keep this longer DVI to HDMI cable for something more important. So we're going to plug in the HDMI here, and plug this into the 3.0 hub because this is a 3.0 device. And let's see how we do. And the system is detecting it automatically without any driver changes, which is nice. I like that. And in the VNC, I'm now showing the second panel. We turn on the monitor here. And I think it'll be... Oh, nope. It's an extended display automatically, which is good. And let me set display settings. Expand this out. So this monitor is a maximum 650, but it's portrait. We're going to keep changes, and the bar over here is correct. So that's working correctly there. Then the next step to add on is my daughter's main USB camera. And that is a 2.0 camera. So we're going to try to plug it into the top of the monitor. And it's got Velcro on the bottom, because on the bottom of the arcade's monitor, I have it so we can stick the screen up like that. And then the camera's hanging down from the bottom of the screen, which is kind of where she's looking. So that's what this is. Let's see if the camera installed automatically. Device manager. Ready to use. Imaging devices, nice. And again, we're not going to really know fully how this is going to work until we put it under load. Now, see, the nice thing about this little crappy HP camera is I can sit it right on the side of the monitor in portrait mode and then test if that'll work. So the next step for us here is going to be to hook up this monitor, or this camera, make sure it installs. And it looks like it's trying to. And actually, because you can't see what's going on the other side, let me pull up this view. So it's trying to install the HP device. Let's see if it showed up under cameras. Okay, so there's the HP. Here's the Logitech, so we're good there. And then we have this crappy audio adapter. And that I can plug into one of the ports on the monitor. So it looks like only the only thing I really need the 3.0 adapter for, or the 3.0 hub, is for the camera. Okay. On the arcade currently, I have a USB 2.0 extension cable and a USB 3.0 extension cable, so I don't need to use the 3.0 hub. I can have the VGA connector connect straight into the USB 3.0 active extension cable, and then the 2.0 plug into the 2.0 active extension cable. That would work. That would work. All right, so let's see. Did the audio device automatically install? Yep, the juke. So now we're gonna hook up my old headphones. This will make my daughter happy. Alright, let's test this out. Green, pink, and yep. Let me check and make sure the audio is getting the recording working. Properties, listen. Listen to this device. Yep. It's working, and this screen's working. Everything's going through the hub nicely. So, yeah, I think this will work. So the next thing I gotta do is I gotta install OBS, because I need to test Open Broadcaster. I gotta install the security certificates on this. Where was that? My top-down view's off. Yeah. Okay. Let me do it over here. Oh, no, that'll be fine. Oh, I gotta shut the face cam off for a sec. Only because the reflection in the arcade chassis could show things that I don't want to show. Install. Did I put my certs in here? Nope. Shared software certs. Okay. So that doesn't have the other certs that I needed. One sec. Oh, that's where it was. That's where it was. I'm going to install these certs. Install local machine. Yep. Trusted routes. Yep. And this is because I run an untangled content filter firewall, and it's trying to do SSL inspection. And because of that, it needs to trust the certs that that machine's generating, and it does it by me trusting its certs on the machine. So once I install these, that SSL error I was getting should go away. Okay, so we'll close the browser. Now open it up. Yeah, see, I got no broadcaster software. Yeah, see, now I don't get the error. So I'm going to download it for Windows. We're going to run it. There we go. But again, what I need to do this for is so I'm putting a load on the USB hub to make sure it can keep up with cameras and the audio and all that stuff at once. And that way I can trim this up, make it look pretty, and then put the computer case back in the arcade. Yeah. Okay, so we've got here, let's do audio input capture. Capture headphone microphone. say mic. I'll say audio. Okay. And this is the juke box. Okay. Chest. Audio output capture. So audio, Windows, sound. And that will be anything going through, for her case, the juke, because she'll have headphones on. And we adjust. See, some people have the audio in here turned on. However, I disable it only because when I switch scenes, I want the microphone to be defined in the scene. And if not, it will be removed. Okay, so I've got that. Let's make sure if I ding a sound, it is coming through from that bar. Now let's add cameras. Video device capture. So capture C615. And we gotta set the screen resolution. This one's 1080 at 30 frames. It was looking at the table. And that's the other thing too, is it'll be so much more less laggy for her now. What's going on in the that line's on my screen? Some weird pixel thing going on. Okay, but it's coming from VNC. Making me a little nervous there. I thought my shit was broke. Okay. So that's that camera. Now we're going to add video device. Even though she doesn't use this one in OBS, Skype cam. We're going to put it in here just so that we can then disable it. But we got to, again, put load on it. This is such a crappy camera. Again, this is from like, you know, webcams are new sort of days. I mean, look at the resolutions available on this. It's just, that's just sad. I can get 30 frames with that. That level, I think it's like, yeah, 15. Ow. Okay, but it'll work. Her brother will be able to see her. We've got a full load on this USB controller now. I'm hearing through here. My microphone's being picked up. That's a viable solution. All right, she will be so thrilled. All right, so that's the deal there. What I'm going to do now is we're going to shut this OS down. And then we're going to get the machine back into the arcade, which would be awesome. All right, so shut down this machine. Close that. Take off the red headphones. You guys are quiet tonight. Nobody's talking. You're not talking to no one. Alright, so this pupper, I really do need to get a shorter cable because I'm going to be wasting all this cable. That's just disgusting. But again, the good news is I will not need an extra power source because I am going to use the cables I already have in there. See, I had the 3.0 cable for one of the cameras for a hot second. Then I had a USB 2.0 that I was just using to charge the keyboard. But since I am going to be able to activate the hub on the monitor, it takes care of that issue. So that adapter is going to work real nice. Now, let's sort these out. So this is the connection for the hub. And then, let me move this a little closer so you guys can see something. Oh, my vape fell. This is the crappy camera, which I had in that port. that over there. Okay, so we can now move this over here so you guys can see, what I'm doing. So, here. Let me shut off the capture card. Oh, shut up. So here's the monitor. And so we have the DVI cable. That's gonna still need to be free because that's gonna be, well, let me see what we can do back here. So I've got these little mounts here for where the base of the screen used to be. So I'm thinking I could probably zip tie things to that. That would look nice. And I've got this, what do they call it? Rocat audio. So this way my daughter will be able to plug the headphones in. Whoop, right there. Yeah, this works. And then what I could do is I can make it so that this cable and the end of the USB cable match up at the same point. Now I do have a whole box of zip ties over here. Let me grab those. I believe my son was so nervous last night because he was getting to use the snips to clean up some of these cables. And he's like, I said, just be careful. You'll be fine. And he was. So now the C16 camera, and that's actually better because this is mounted on the arcade itself. It will plug into the USB cable that comes straight out of the arcade. And that way also, if I pull this stuff off, I can still have the camera attached for whatever else I may need it attached for. So now this and this are going to plug into the arcade extensions at the same point. So what I might do is simply oh no, this is USB 2.0. That's right. That is going to plug in over here. I'll have to see where that meets up later. What I'm going to do for this is I'm going to zip tie these right here so that they're together. I see my chat feed over there. Yeah, I am watching the chat, so if anybody wants to say hey or hi or whatever, feel free. The other night when it started getting later, I noticed everybody started talking a lot more. I was like, people are getting sleepy. Come on, baby. Close that one. We'll zip tie that, or snip it. And again, this also will allow me, replacing the parts, getting better parts, everything like that, will allow me to make better videos for all you guys as well, which is very exciting to me. Very excited. And hopefully, that'd be awesome if I can get a PS3 emulator to work. Because my son has a PS3 upstairs and all my old games with it. But I don't want to go up to his bedroom to play. Plus, he's got a boys' room, and any of you have kids, I don't remember my bedroom stinking that much, but man, boys' bedrooms smell. We are some dirty individuals at that age, I guess. Come on, baby. All right. Very cool. Very, very cool. All right. And well, it was funny when I was doing the fans with my son, the Corsair fans in his machine. He saw one of the prices on one of the video cards. He's like, wow, that was expensive. And then he thought for a second, he's like, was my computer that expensive? And then I was like, well, normally it would be rude for you to ask and rude for me to tell you. I said, but you didn't think it cost that much? And he was like, no. And I said, well, I will tell you this. I never would pay that kind of a money for a machine for you to play Fortnite. He kind of grinned a little bit. And I said, that's the reason why Dad's been saying, you need to start working with Blender and the other reasons why I bought you a really powerful machine so that you can actually learn on it, and get life skills. Because it's funny, the stuff that he's interested in, if it wasn't for Fortnite, are all life, career level skills. So I told my wife, I said, if he wants to learn something like that, I do not ever want, especially in my house, for me not having a good enough computer to be the reason why you didn't learn something. So I gave him a roundabout estimate. And he was like, oh, wow. I said, you going to try to learn some stuff now? And he's like, yes, I will. I said, okay. Good enough. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, because I don't want this getting pulled and ripping the cables out of the jacks, I'm going to zip tie this to where the base of the normal stand, because this is an aftermarket stand, where the normal stand would be. And then that way, I'm not pulling on ports. If I can get this to go through the back of the screw hole with my fat ass fingers. Let's see, can I get that there? And come on. Come on, you fat bastard. Ah. Okay. And almost got it. That's still backwards though. Okay, I need to go through this way. That bend it a little more. Go in, twist it around. I can get my finger behind it. Or under it. Okay. Now, attach that to that. And it's in there. Okay. So we got that started. So that nice cable's going to lock into that position right there. And then what I want to do is I want to tighten it a little more. Then we'll want another zip tie to bunch this up. So that way it's not all over the place. Like that. Yeah. And this way, from the front side, all the cords aren't going to be visible to everybody. Close this in. And then this is going to go there, like that. But it's got to go underneath, so that way the monitor can still be turned into different viewing modes. So to do that, I want to twist it this way so that cord tucks in a bit. And then, okay. Don't worry, I'll show you what I've done after I get this hemmed up here. Let's get this down here. Up underneath. Get another zip tie on it. We're going to loosely attach the top hoop on this. Like so. Ah. Don't you come out. Stupid thing. Everybody's a stalker tonight. Nobody's talking. Everybody's sitting around quiet. Don't say nothing. Won't call on us if you don't say nothing. Fucker. Those are too short. Alright, so let's do Yeah, this is Gabby after all. Let's get a couple pink ones in there. Pink. Like that. We're going to do it for the fatty part. Yeah, that'll work well. And then we'll have that there. And we'll tie that down to the power cord. And that way, that hangs out. Yeah, I like that. We're gonna do that one to here. Just to keep this sucker in line. Like that. So the power cord's actually going to end up holding that cable in. And then this wire is ready to be snipped. Ooh, the monitor almost fell off. Okay. So that's nice and tight. That's nice and tight. Those are coming out here. This power cord is going out there. The audio is loose, which is what we want. The webcam I can tighten up. Just running it through my head, and then I'll show you what I'm doing back here. I like that. I like how it's turning out. So let me tighten that in. And then let me tighten this in here. And what that'll do is from the front side, it will look really clean. And actually from the back side, it's going to look pretty clean for what it is too. Okay. Snippy time. That. That. And that. Alright, and then the last thing I need to snip down is going to be, I'm going to leave her a little bit of slack on this webcam. Just so that she, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give her a little slack, but then I'm going to have it intersect where this other bunch is, so it can be tied down as well. That way she'll have a little bit of movement for the webcam, but not complete freedom. Allow her to move it anywhere on the monitor. Again, this is just the Skype cam, so it's not meant to, she's not meant to be moving it all over the place. This is for Skype. The C615 cam, she will be able to move that wherever she wants. Alright, so I'm now going to attach these two bunches together just so that the cable's not flopping around on the back of the screen. Alright. Alright, so at least from back here I like it. So let me put these away for the moment and show you what we got. And then it will go to the big embarrassing space in the room that's all dirty and nasty and gross. Alright, so what we got here is we now have all the cables, as you can see, bunched up like that. Whoop. Let's try to twist on me. Alright, so they're all zip tied and attached so they won't float around. And then from the front, it's a real clean look. You can't see any of the other wires. So what you got is the webcam up here. You've got the USB connection for the webcam right there. But there's also an available USB port, which will be for the C16 camera. And then the only thing coming out is the power cord. This is where she'll plug in the headphones. But then you have the power cord, and then you have this bunch that we zip tied together so it's in one strand. So this will this can be easily added and taken off the arcade to increase the streaming ability. But then the arcade could still be taken somewhere and not have to worry about any of the streaming components when I do. So this is exactly what I wanted. The benefit also is, again, I'm not going to need another power strip because I'm not using a USB 3.0 hub anymore. I'm not going to need to do that. So let me put this monitor back in. And let me hit the little add button while I'm out of view anyway. I got to figure out how it works. Alright. Now move the power cord down here. Where's the... This is the one that came right in here. This. Taking its place. Alright, so her secondary monitor's hooked up. Her headphones will be ready for her. We are the champions, my friends. And we'll do all kinds of stuff in the end. Okay. So I'm going to sit for a second. Respond to all your chat messages. That was called sarcasm. Because you guys aren't chatting. I do have a question for you guys. As I was saying, I'm getting 2 copies of the Tom Clancy's Division for doing these purchases. But I also have a choice to make. I'm kind of conflicted because I'm not sure what I want to do. So, for the RTX 2080, I got a different coupon that gives me choices. And again, I'm not sure which choice. I'm not going to answer it fully, but I do want to get your guys' feedback on if you have any experience with any of these. Excuse me. Any of these games. Let's see. So, I need to find the thank you for your purchase email. Free games for purchase. Alright. So, Battlefield 5, Anthem, or Metro Exodus. So let's see. Metro Exodus, Battlefield 5, or Anthem. Now, Battlefield 5 sounded really cool, but I don't know. I know what Battlefield 5 is, so what is Anthem? I saw the other guy playing Anthem. It's an EA game. Well, of course, they're all going to be EAM. Let's, yeah. I'll look at this stuff later. I don't want to bother everybody looking at that. Sorry. A little bit of a distraction there. Let me close that. Okay. So again, anybody got a comment? Anybody played Anthem, Battlefield 5, and Metro Exodus while I sit for a second before I go and mount this ugly looking case into the arcade? Oh, maybe. Oh, maybe. Okay. So then the next thing is going to mount the stuff in the arcade. And then I don't believe there's driver installs for anything. I think all the guns, the bars, and everything like that get recognized automatically. And we can install the Andy software later. That would be the optimum approach. I'm excited to hear how quiet the freaking arcade is after I power it back on. And then starting next week, I will begin videos on how to install each of the emulators one by one, and then retro Launchbox on its own. And then I'm going to start finally have the platform set up cleanly enough where I can start delving into Hyperspin, which I know a lot of you guys use, which I need to get more familiar with personally. So that is my game plan anyway. I need to start scheduling myself a schedule to make these videos. Now, the good thing is I'll be able to generate a lot of content while I'm doing the MAME, because I'll release a video and then I'll hold on. So even if I do like 6 emulators in a day, I'll hold on to those videos so I can at least have a consistent release schedule for a little bit. That would be good. All right, so we are now see. I'm not sure what the delay is. Yeah, so it's still about 20-30 seconds. Okay. It'd be nice if they gave us a indication of what the delay was. All right, so I'm going to now take this big son of a bitch, move it over. But first, Alexa, turn on gaming dishes. Alexa, turn on VR desk. Alexa, turn on basement. That should take care of all that. Now, looking inside this case, I gotta see where my clearance is. All right, so those bolts should be fine for the video card. And then inside here, I used to have a whole bunch of Molex connectors in there floating around for the fans. Well, now they're all SATA cables, even though I still have the Molex in there, so I will be able to hook this up. Oh, I can hook it up now. What am I talking about? The only part that I have to add is that piece. I will need to add that. But I can hook this up for now. So it'll be ready when I actually hook up the rest of the case. Where did it go? I had Molex in hand. Oh. No. The only Molex I ran was over there. And I don't want... Actually, this could then stick out of the case. Okay. So I have a Molex adapter in one of these boxes. Because for each of when I build a PC, I keep a power supply box just so that I can keep the extra pieces for that machine. So, in my wife's case box, got a SATA to Molex adapter. So this is the yellow pin, and what this is for the IKEA deodor lights up in the marquee. This is what throws the power to them, and then the ground is going back into the controller board. So as long as that yellow pin connects right now. The only thing that annoys me is how much these wires float inside. Alright. That sucker's on there. It's stable now. And it's just that one pin. I will plug it in here. And that's the right way. And boom. We're good inside now for the other arcade hookup. And the other wires that we're going to have to run in there, which you're not going to really be able to see well, is once I get this mounted in the system, those power cables I'm going to need to reconnect for the LED, the power, and the hard drive light. So I will be doing that once we're inside there. What I can do in the meantime is my reset switch. We'll be able to go back to being a reset switch, because the power is going to then again be on the arcade itself. I've already configured the BIOS on the resumption of power to automatically come back online. So that's already been taken care of. Alright, let me flip the cameras over. I'll go over to the other side of the room here. Let me see. I think I made another scene for open space. I did. So I'll be over there in a second. And again, I told you it's messy. I apologize. Alright, let me get my vape, soda, and the new guts. Oh, I remember to take the keyboard controller. That actually would operate better on the new monitor setup. So is the camera, that works. Because the other camera was going to be directly controlled by so I have one port available on that monitor setup. So the mouse and keyboard will now be there. The benefit of having the adapter on the monitor is that I can easily remove it to test another PC on the workstation for the mouse, the easily remote access keyboard and mouse. Alright, so moving this stuff over here. Moving this big boy over here. And then, boy, my fatness. Oh, the fatness. I need to turn on that TV over there. It has the splitter for the signal over there. Alright. So it can go over now. And over here on my keypad over here, I should have an overlay for. Thought I had a button set up for it. Okay, main PC. Does this have this camera turned on right now? No, it does not. Oh, and that's so laggy. Oh, the Kinect's not playing nice. Well, we won't be here that long. Oh, but that's not playing nice. I may have to put the other USB hub back in there, because the Kinect is not happy. I don't like it when the Kinect is not happy. You suck. Wow. Let me see, where's my mouse for this? This had a nub. Where's the nub for this one? There it is. Alright. So that can go up here. Alright, so what I'm trying to do now, let me open up this. And let me come down to Doing some mouse stuff off my belly. Deactivate. Activate. Well. Still laggy. I don't know why it's doing that. Is it even working at all now? No, it's not. Hold on. I think I know what's going on here. Going on and off. Let's see if that stays on. You play nice or no? Come on. That does not make sense. We're going to need to leave this thing floating for it to work. Try. Oh. Tell the bitch about that time. More thing, guys. Sorry. Next. Testing the connector. Alright. So that answers my question that I had before. Let me adjust this thing here. Just open space. Turn on our overlay for mixed reality. And our camera over here. Okay, so what's happening here, guys, is when I was trying to do the... Shut off the overlay here. The overlay. So what's happening here is when I was trying to do the second video card in my machine, I had to take out this USB controller because there wasn't enough space. Now, I had distributed the USB 2.0 hubs onto this. They're now consolidated all onto the motherboard, so I'm obviously overloading the resources on the one host controller. The Connect takes a good amount because it's got all the infrared and all the other stuff like that. So it looks like I am going to have to put this back in to put the 2.0 hubs solely on this device. And that should free up the resources where the Connect will play as beautifully as it did yesterday, which I was very surprised about. So, we'll have that fixed for next time, but this camera works. It's actually another Brio, so it's 60 frames, so it's even better. But it doesn't give you as wide a shot as the Kinect camera does. So the Kinect camera I was setting up for more of a wide angle sort of deal. But I'm also working underneath the arcade right now, so I'm going to move onto that camera. So let me rescale this down so I can see still nobody's chatting, people just watching, which is fine. And we are going to now flip on the overlay. You can see my big fat ass coming in front of this arcade. Hit that real quick. One other thing I want to do is you can see in the back of the arcade there, I have some LEDs that are actually sunk down through drill holes that I use as ground effects lights. And some of the tape has been pulled around. I want to make sure that that's secure as well. So I'm going to check that here in a second. But again, fat ass. It's all good. Alright, let's see. So we got cables here, cables there. There's the wires for the power switches and the power for that light. And then, yeah, so it looks like the tape holding down the LED lights is still secure. The lights are still in place. And then this power strip set was just sitting behind here. And then this power, so then we have a DVI adapter. Now look, I didn't even look at that. Let me look at the back of the. Yeah, so I still have DVI as an option on the back of this new card, so that's good. So I'll use DVI and HDMI. And then I got audio here. That was the microphone. And then this power cord there. So that's the one that goes on top of the PC and Velcro. So the next step's going to be lining up these holes and connecting. Sure I'm not snagging anything, I'm not. Okay. And then this just sticks with the Velcro right there. Now what was this cable for? I got a cable hanging down here, I don't like that. Shit, I think I got something snagged up there because I got a cable hanging down from one of my switches. Might have got pulled out. Look. There. That's there. That was loose. The one that's hanging down is that blue one. Now, here's my motion sensor. Is it one of the ones from the... No. Those are all there. The pinball switches both in place. Those pinball switches are in place. Okay, maybe that one was hanging down. Unrelated to anything else. Maybe. The rest of my switches are all. Just to remember leaving one hanging. I think I did connect. And what I'm checking is that each switch has a ground and a signal wire. And they seem to all be connected appropriately. Very weird. Okay. Switches going to the arcade. Coin buttons are all. I just must have had a button. Now it's not on the power, right? Power button back. Oh, that was correct. Okay. I guess. Okay. Alright. So the next thing is we are looking for where the holes are. So I can. Okay, so there. Which way? This way. Right about there. Oh, some piece of scrap underneath. Alright, so the holes are right there. Okay. Reaching under here for the hole. little washer down. And whoop, wash it the wrong way. And work. Get as finger tight as I can. Back to the wrench and secure them. And then hook up my switches. And check this back. Check that boy out and see the work. Ooh. Okay, so there's a change. The bolt that holds where the switches were now runs right in front of where the power switches are on the new board. That's different. So that means back here's where the power connectors are. There used to be a bolt going through the case right there. It means I can't use that bolt point, or else I'll possibly rip out the switches or hit the board, and I don't want to risk that. So I think 3 bolts in a tri-pattern probably overkill in the first place. I'm not that worried about it. We'll just go down 1. But 2 of these big fat bolts should be more than enough. Now we're going to tighten this sucker in. Now before, I'll flip it to the close side. It is tight now, I just want to make sure. Make sure I put the washer on this. Yeah. So that case is in there solid right there. Awesome. And I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. I'm gonna try not to show everybody my ass. Alright, that's in there tight. So now, the fun part. Now previously, okay, that's right, this bottom expansion slot cover was off previously for a reason. And that's because that's where I run these cables through. And I ran the other power cord through for the Molex thing. Actually, the Molex came through the front. Let me very carefully, gently pull these through. And this again is the reset for the LEDs, for the drive activity, and for the power that I've configured to be a side button over here on the arcade. That was a good backhand catch. Still no comments. You guys are quiet. Alright. So here I have the hard drive LED, which I believe I got a flashlight here. Of course, is the power's up on top, because that's what the power switch is up on top over here. I think my light. I know this part is not terribly entertaining. I apologize for that. But I appreciate you hanging out with me. I see the power switch there. Next, what we need is the power LEDs. The positive goes on the far side. This is not made for a person with fat fingers like myself, but did it anyway. Alright, so the power LEDs are in there. The last small switch is this hard drive LED, which will go under here. And now another problem I just realized I'm going to have is the Molex connector is also used by my external fans. So I am going to need to still have an external Molex. So that means I just need to get one of the cords from, yeah, so this is the wire for the power switch. And then this is going to be the cord. This Molex connector goes to the controller. This controls the LEDs, part of the ultimate I/O. And that runs through the expansion slot too, because that's always connected. Let's gently pull this through. I do not want to rip the wire on the edge of the expansion slot, because that could obviously damage it. What I do need to do is I need to come over here and get another cord. Hello. Molex cords. I've barely used these. Where are they? You're pissing me off. That is not it. Okay. So, because I'm using a Molex, I am going to end up using this Molex thing anyway. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the special SATA to Molex connector I had. I'm going to go ahead and pull that off and save that connector for the USB on the other machine. As far as this goes, I'm going to put this is that SATA. Oh, that's right. This machine is fixed cables. I just got like really confused because this is the 500 one. Yeah. This doesn't use these. This should have more freaking Molex in it than that. Because it's crappy. Ah, there they are. Okay. Actually, so I'm still in really good shape. I'm even better than I thought. So I still don't need to use that connector. Because I have this Molex, that Molex, and then this SATA, which I can push back up here. Okay, so I've got that one. And then I've got this one. And then that one plugs straight into there. Like so. Okay. So how many do I need? I need this one that goes up to the video card. Now I have slack on this. I can do whatever I want with this one. So let me see. How many ports do I have? Oh, I have 1, 2, and then the third is plugging into that card. So let me see. Oh, what's up here? No. I swear there should be another one of those, though. Did I hide one somewhere? Yeah, that's the motherboard. That's my first setup. That skinny line. There should be another one of those. Skinny ass lines. Yeah, that's going up to that regular type. Then that's going down to there. And that is coming out here. That's. I might have to use that weird connector after all. Oh, what's this up here? No, that's okay, I may have to. Maybe this power supply did not anticipate much SATA because it was near the end of life already at that point. Because that USB card definitely uses SATA. Or uses Molex. Okay, so I am going to have to use a funky ass adapter. Alright, that's fine. Let's first take care of the one that we have in the case. And that is right here. This is not the right camera anyway. Put them back up there. So this one, you have flexibility yet, so I'm going to put this one right at the end of the case. What is the up and up? Okay, so this one's on the goes on the red and the black. Is that in there all the way? Yep. Okay. The other thing I hate about Molex is how it would like pop out occasionally. That's so annoying. Okay, so then this wire is to be used by the other wire that goes underneath. And that's in there now. It's in there secure. And that plugs into the wire that I have for clear these fans. I don't want the fans to get hit. Just a little bit of slack on there. Okay. As you see, I'm letting this bolt kind of help hold this forward. Then, here it is. This cable here is being used to provide power for the marquee IKEA lights. So I gently send that through this back hole. And then this is the coupler that I wired for it. So the last outstanding Molex connection is solely. As you see, that's popped in there now, and that's locked. So the last connection for the Molex is for use with the case fans, which are right here. Ooh. Nope. And that pin's trying to pop out, which annoys me a lot. So it pushes back in. Okay. So then this goes this way. Oh. No. This. See, I could use this and it would pick it up in line. However, if I want to take the door fully off, then how would that work? Well, actually, that could work. So what I would do is, no. I can, yeah. So the issue I have with the plan is if I want to take the door completely off and move it to the other side of the room, I want to be able to fully disconnect and be free from it. And to do that, I need that wire to not attach inside to anything else. And that'll give me the most freedom. And that's what I'm looking for there is the most freedom to get away from that wire. And unfortunately, that just means that I can't. See, so this can now be outside the case. Or previously, I'd have to reach in the hole in the case and adjust things. Let me make sure there's nothing else at this point that has to be plugged in on the inside of the case. Looking around, I got connectors, I got okay. No. Everything is good there. So that means I can put the case back on this thing. I'm interested to see if this lines up still. It should. But I'm not 100% sure on that. So I'm going to move this back, and now this is going to hang out here. I'm going to get this power cord out of here, and attempt, badly, to line up this side of my case. What the hell's going on? That's there. That's there. Bottom's there. Oh, got a wire here. That's there. Looks like the rivets are starting to come out on this case. That does not make sense to me. Why is doing that? Alright. Everything looks closed there now. There should be a little thumb screw here. Alright. So all that difficultness is done. The next thing I need to do is, this is going where this is an extension cable. So that will go back in here. And I need the light here to see where to connect everything. Alright, so this is an extension cable, so I want that to be on the new expansion part. And then the USB 2.0 extension cable, I also want to be, I only want the external stuff to be on that new card. So, this right outside is probably the reason why it also had issues staying connected, is because it was already on the resource, that USB hub was crying. Now I'm going to take, okay, so I had a lot of hubs plugged into hubs. You generally should not do that. We're going to do this hub there. And then this big fat boy hub right here. We're going to run it on the back side of the case. And that's going to plug in here. Then we have the new network jack. This cable plugs into here. So I'll plug that in. Where am I at? Okay, that's plugged in right there. We have the headphones and the microphone. Because there is a microphone at the top hidden. So we're going to do green first just because of where it's located. green. And then, why is that there like that? Oh, this wire switches down to a single connection. So that's in there. Then, we have a DVI connector. DVI is right here. I think it's down. Yep. And out. And HDMI. That is where on this card right there. Okay. Then we have power there. Now the other thing that was in, this hub over here came into here. So I want to remove that. Again, just because I want to, what happens is when you daisy chain the hubs, all the bandwidth ends up. So if you're using all the devices, then the path is congested too much for the data to be consistent. And that might have been what was also causing some of my delay in some of my responses, was because there's too much bandwidth occurring all at once. So these are now individual devices. My controller card itself, its USB goes there, goes right here, which I do want that, now that I have all the extra ports on this system, I do want this to be directly on the main board, not jumping through hubs, if possible. So, put that bad boy up here, and looking around just to make sure I got the rest of the connections. It does appear that I do. Let me plug the power in on this thing, and then I'm gonna turn this thing around and see what we got. I am going to stupidly go ahead and partially put this case on and stupidly trust that everything is good to go. And what's nice about having this connector is, in the future, like, removing this was kind of a pain in the ass, because messing with Molex is always just a pain in the ass. So this is kind of nice I'm doing this, because that's a much easier connector to have lined up and work. So just drop that in there. And again, I'm not going to tighten this on. I'm just going to put a screw in it. One of the screws in the back. Just so I can boot it up and verify everything's working. And if so, then we can roll it back to its home. So I'm going to put this on here. And the good thing is the arcade now has the built-in Wi-Fi, which is much nicer. Let's put this over here. So let that one stay there. We're going to roll this sucker around. And let me shut off the streaming cam. Hey, I got two people hanging in there. I know, I told you guys it was going to be a little bit boring. Sorry about that. Alright. So, turning this thing around, we're going to also verify that the marquee is working. Alexa, turn off gaming dishes. I'm doing that just so we can see more on what's going on.
Okay.
This cord here, this is our USB extension. This is the power. Which will do into this column over here. One of the fans is touching. And that was supposed to be off there. Let me see why that fan's on the wire. Probably at some point should pin those wires down. But see, the issue previously, I was starting to get really disappointed because previously this arcade machine was loud. It was like a loud hum, but I could hear it from very far away. Now hopefully it won't be that bad. So there's my extension cable for that type. Here's my PS4. Guns. And the guns. Okay. PS4. And then, alright, so let's see if it's quiet now. Oh my god. I can't hear it. Holy shit. It's so quiet. And as you can see on the side here, the power indicator is showing hard drive activity, which is nice. Come on, turn on screen. I can't believe how quiet. It's not making any noise. All my buttons are lit. Okay, so the controller's loaded. Setting up watermark and adjust the screen size. Needed. Alright. So it's now detecting the new screen, setting up the trackball spinner. Oh my god, this is working. Without having to do anything else so far. Action. What's nice is right now I don't even need to install a keyboard since I got VNC on here, which I didn't even think about before. That's really nice. Smart that I got that. My daughter, like I said, she still uses it heavily. Alright. Setting up device. Alright. Used to that. So let me see over here. What's all these switch back to main scene. Let me go to my cameras and shut down the top view. That's that. I'm about to fix those views. So again, I'm working to adjust the way some of this stuff is set up. But capture card's not in there now, but let me connect to, I guess I could still do that in the background. Let me adjust the camera on that. I don't have the mixed reality camera set up on here. That's why it's confused. Okay, so let me shut that off. And let me add scene. It's an overlay of mixed reality. Mixed reality. Okay. And then add that up here. I'm gonna put that down. The rest of the overlay. There we're color yellow. Alright, there's a little bit of cleanup stuff here. Alexa, turn on gaming dishes. That should be set to autofocus. You would hope. Sorry about that. There. Hold on. Oh, see. Close this. Let me double click on mixed reality. Where's overlay mixed reality? Hello. Overlay. Really getting annoying. There it is. Yay. Okay. Fucking A. Okay, so we're going to connect up the VNC now. And what I'm going to try to do is open up a notepad. I'm going to verify everything looks correct. And then I'm going to verify that my buttons and everything are still responding correctly. Now this resolution is still set really low because of the new screen. So let's see, scroll down here. Actually, it's set correctly. It's just got a really huge resolution. Okay, so now I need to sign out now. This is acting weird. Display. Okay, let me sign out here. Alright, so I guess what we need to do is VNC is supposed to be working here. Let's do a send control alt delete. Sign out. Okay, now normally I'm going to be able to have this on the capture card, which would be awesome. Sign into that. So in the future videos, I'll be able to have a picture of the arcade here, a picture of the console screen here, me talking here, and it should work pretty smoothly. All right, this is now working correctly. So what I want to do is bring up Notepad. And what I'm going to be doing, none of the programming is going to be there on the controller, but there is default codes that will be there still. And you know what, this time, I may keep most of those default codes just so it works with me natively a lot better. Note. I'm trying to type on this keyboard, which is what I was using before. I gotta type on my own keyboard. Alright, Notepad. So we got that up there. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna test, verify. That's right. I'm golden. That is awesome. Alright, so next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll the arcade back. And I'm going to hook up Gabby's screen and make sure that the capture card's also going to be set up. Let me move this mixed reality cam over. Hello. Let me grab it. Move that one over here. And then that way, we'll be able to have the capture card on the other side. I'm hooking that up now. So let me disconnect, shut down the arcade, move everything in place. Figure the clone display and apart and the LED spotlights. Usually I can shut this down the normal way. Well, I gotta shut down this way right now. Shut down. Oh, this would be so much easier to make videos. Jesus Christ, it's gonna be so much easier. That's exciting. Okay, so then what I'm gonna do. Okay. So, the arcade. Again, we'll build a huge machine. Highly recommend you. Now, one other thing about the power cord. Also on this, I set up. She's streaming. I have a little light bar set up. Now this cord was added because I was running into issues. The arcade in position for that light bar back. Bringing this back here. I have a funky or set up I did for my daughter that I just set up on top of the arcade. It does pop like down. Then I gotta pull my power cord over and plug it into this big ugly orange now. A little better so it's not as ugly. It is ugly before. That will help the aesthetic. Right? Then, yeah. Better. Then, get her capture. Back in time. Alright, so she's got HDMI cords hooked up here. And network cables plugged in. And now on this USB 2.0. Then 3.0 extension. I'm gonna hang those loose on just for the moment. Hold it so we're long. Alright. Alexa, turn on arcade spots. Alexa, turn off basement. Alexa, turn off vision. Alexa, turn off yard desk. As you for a moment. Anyway, so we got these two cables now. USB 2.0 cable and the USB 3.0 extension cable. We're going to move these out of the way of the rest of our cables for a moment. We're going to drop our excess wires to the floor. They should be. Got a real wire from the camera that's floating out limbo that I'm going to have to do some cable management on. My camera angle totally. Then we have the cables that we bundled up. I'm going to take those and then I'm going to drop that cable back. I'll drop these cables back out of the way. Now it's kind of tucked out of sight, out of mind. More there. Cable on the other side of the cable. 3. On. Monitor. Should go back on its own. So it looks like it's trying to use the crappy. Oh no. Try to clone. Nope, still got that Z. So it's now installing the webcams like that again. So I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to turn on the capture card. And it does appear to be capturing. Let me capture card overlay. Let's bring that down to a reasonable level. And reconnect VNC. arcade. Okay, so now we're going to look at our display properties. What we have is identify. So the big screen's 2, the floaty monitor, the one is the cloned display, and it's not cloned, it's extended as well. So what we need to do is we need to go on monitor 2. Actually, we need to go to monitor 1 and say clone. Oh, that's not working. What about, is the mouse working now? Got the nub in there. I'm not sure what's happening here. Take the keyboard over there. And the non-Mavericks Arcade mouse pad, which I do think I will fix in the future. Tangled up on my seat here. Oh. Definitely tracking the mouse. This is the way my card. Oh, I think mouse pad. Oh, I think what's happening. Let me expand my VNC out because my VNC has 3 monitors on here. I'm not seeing them all. Here's the last monitor. Okay, so this mouse drags this way, and then it drags more this way, and now I should have it over here. Okay, the cursor's there. So now, oh, you know what's happening? It's these guns. White guns. If they're in a position, so 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 3 is shown up. Good. Then that one we go. And we're going to move it up. The reason why we have it too high or too low, when you try to go to the side from that, you have to remember towards the middle. Okay, so this should be on there. Should be showing in a happy way. Let's see. The capture card is showing the side that is on the arcade screen. Alright, so that is now set up correctly. Let's resume the test we were doing before. And that is, let's put OBS on the taskbar. Let's launch OBS and see if we have... This is a 2.0 camera. Will that... And PlayStation. the 3.0 extension. I hooked up to anything? Hooked up to. Oh, how the hell? Okay, I fucked up. I actually hooked the GA monitor the wrong one, but it was backward compatible enough to work correctly. However, still kind of. Anyway, we've got the VGA now. So let's see if I can. Question. Nope. Okay, so then looking at the back of this, do I have one port left? Yes. Camera. And that one leftover. Logitech will have better range than it's ever had because it's in a position soft hang mouse. Now we're gonna make sure the cameras are turned on. And when she's streaming, the camera again is sitting up. We need to rotate underneath. And she's good to go. And the other camera is this one. Activate. Alright. Issue. Where is ice? Oh, somebody chatted. Hey, what's up? Yeah. I'm testing getting this little self-contained streaming monitor started. Then I'm gonna be looking at what other trying the camera. This one is not right up. Garbage, trash. Yeah, that right. I was able to get to work with all right. Time. Something's weird about it. Maybe that it, obviously. Yes. Alright. So, yeah, Retro, there were some changes to how I was going to do it, but it looks like it should be better once I'm done. I mean, the video card's going to be way better than what I was planning. Let's see. Device Manager, cameras, update driver. This is the best driver, right? Oh, let me try. Nope. And we'll try searching those update. It's so fast. God, it's fast. The wireless should also still be changed up. Wi-Fi should just see, not just disconnect. Okay. What is going on with that camera? Let me try to delete this one. And actually, it's only really important for Skype. Microsoft or Skype for desktop. Let's go. Okay, so I need to again shut off my capture card. Not making that Malwarebytes mistake again. You didn't finish. Didn't finish what? What are you talking about, Mr. Lower? Oh God, for a minute there. My password list showed up on my big screen TV because I have it cloned over here. And for a moment, I thought that was my broadcast camera. But it's not. So that just scared me for a second. That scared me for a second. Okay. So I'm looking for my Skype credentials. Wouldn't be that one. It would be that. Okay. Put that in there. And put the password in there. Sign in. Skip. Yep. Can have access to the microphone. That's fine. Okay, so for the Skype, it's going to use the microphone on the camera, which I'm good with. Let access the camera please work. Not that camera. That one. Okay, good. So the camera's working there. It's just not working in OBS, and I'm fine with that. It doesn't need to work in OBS. I only wanted it to work in Skype, and it does. So we're golden. And here's the camera for Gabby, which obviously will adjust. So, all right. So OBS is there. The freestanding monitor for her to watch chat on. For her to be able to chat on is fine. Malwarebytes. Let's see. From part 1, I had to edit. Oh,
No, I did not finish. There's been some changes. So in the beginning of this one, you can skip back to the beginning, but basically what happened was, I was trying to do 2 GPUs in my main PC, so that it would look pretty, and upgrade the. Sorry, restart. So overall recap. I was going to do 2 GPUs so I could try to offload the encoding when I'm streaming games and stuff. And I didn't realize it was cutting my PCI lanes in half, so I didn't get any real benefit from it. So I took, I was going to have the 1660 Ti in the arcade, but because it's not working the way I wanted, I actually am putting the 2060 RTX card in the arcade. So that it's over 180, 190% faster than the previous video card that was in the machine. Plus all the other upgrades. Plus, instead of 16 gigs, I'm doing 32 gigs. So this machine just screams. But when I had the machine sitting over here, and I knew the machine was always loud. I thought some of it was drive, whatever. Well, I removed the 2 fans when I was building the system the other night. And I realized I had to look inside the case to see if the machine was on. So then I was like, okay, I don't know how loud the fans are on that I put on the back panel. But obviously the fans inside the arcade are slow or are loud as hell. So I took the case fans out of my new cases, and I got Corsair RGB kits for my son and I. So we were taking the fans out of that. We put them in there's a blue LED and a red LED, which I don't care because we're not going to ever see the colors inside the big wooden box. So I put those inside the computer case for the arcade. And when I powered it up, I couldn't hear it. I am so freaking happy because that thing was loud as hell. And my daughter would want to play stuff. It was just too damn loud. I also ended up putting a USB card in the arcade. So now everything is balanced. So I'm able to still have all the controls connected and her streaming stuff set up. And then if you go back and watch this video, you'll see I actually made the little screen so it's kind of standalone. So I can easily add and take it off and get her streaming abilities. Or just take it off if I want to take the arcade somewhere in the back of the truck. So it's worked out real well. This is the change also, is in doing all this, the only thing left I have to do now besides massive cleanup is I'm taking the old arcade parts, motherboard and processor, and I'm putting inside this other little cheap case that I got. Because it's going to be the only optical drive I have in the house if I need to try to rip stuff to a CD image. So that'll be good. I also was able to, in the end of the first video, I had my key showing for Malwarebytes. So I did remove it, but I also, Malwarebytes reset the key for me, so I won't have that issue. But I did remove that part before I brought the video live again. So the part 1 is now available to watch, and part 2 obviously will be available when I'm done streaming, because I didn't fuck up and show any keys this time. But what I'm excited about is the free camera that I'm using for mixed reality that I can move around the room is what you're seeing now, right here. And then the capture card's here. But I have a USB HDMI adapter. So that's attached on the outside to my daughter's monitor on the back side. So she's able to stream and have that secondary view without me having to swap back and forth or use an HDMI switch on the HDMI connection back of the arcade that I installed. So my capture card's hooked up right now, and her secondary monitor's hooked up for viewing text messages and stuff when she's streaming. So very versatile. It'll be very much easier to try to make videos and stuff. And since I have VNC now properly running on the arcade with the capture card, I can control everything from here and then still use the camera to get footage of the buttons, for example, if I'm doing an LED blink video or something. So I'm very excited. It's also going to allow me, as I rip through installing a bunch of emulators, I'm going to make a separate video on each one so I can stack some content up. But really, the only thing I have left to do tonight, besides clean up the basement, is putting the arcade parts in that other box. Which there's no reason to stream that. So I'm probably going to end the stream here in a sec. And then tomorrow, get the rest of the stuff set up so that yeah, I can stream again and test it out, and I can test some RTX games. And then start next week, start producing. Before I do any videos, though, I'm going to check all my email and get caught up on all that stuff and set up all my filters and my rules again so that I can stay on top of them and be better about that. So that's my goal. That's what I'm going to work on. And it's very exciting. So it's going to be a lot of work, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun. And then, like I said, I'm going to use the old motherboard with the 1660 Ti to be part of the render farm that I am part of. Nice. So this really forced this up. Yeah, and I've had this studio set up for a long time, and in fact, for the VR, I have green screens and hooks in the ceiling that go throughout the whole floor of that wide space of the basement, and even a green screen for the floor. So actually, what I'm going to probably do is I have another channel called Maverick Hideout on Facebook and here on YouTube and on Twitch. But tonight I'm probably going to stream my first time playing Skyrim. Actually, no. I'm going to do that tomorrow night. So if you check out Maverick's Arcade or Maverick's Hideout on Facebook, like it, follow it. And I've never played Skyrim in my life. And I'm going to try that on Skyrim VR, which would be really cool. And again, like I said, at some point I want to do the, let me see, what's this say? RTX on 260 is like drag racing. BRZ. Not sure what the BRZ is. Yeah, like I said, the 260 originally, well, the arcade had a 1050 Ti in it before. So a 2060 is just loads more advanced and faster. So it's definitely an upgrade. And then, like I said, the 1660 will be fine for doing render jobs for the farm. Now you can see in the video up here, that case used to be just a flat out black case. And now I've got 3 RGB fan lights in there. And that's my current streaming PC right there. I have HDMI video extenders and USB extenders and everything running. So over here, I have my keyboard, mouse, and all that stuff, and my 2 big 4K screens. But the reason why the PC sits over here is because I have an Oculus Rift, and all the sensors and everything interface under the desk here. And also, when I have a steering wheel for my stream Project Cars 2, I have a steering wheel with the clutch and the gears, and I love it. But I also have Elite Dangerous, which has the flight stick and the throttle and all that stuff. So I'll sit at the desk, and so I have cameras over here. I have 1, 2, 3 cameras over here. And then over there, I have 3 cameras as well for when I'm capturing mixed reality streaming. Oh, Subaru. Okay. Yeah, for arcade emulation, a 2060 is gonna be really nice. But it's also gonna give me a chance after I get Launchbox set up to do a clean it, and because I have the NVMe drives, and I'm gonna be able to set up the folder structure. Now that I know how the things interact with each other, I'll be able to set it up correctly this time and cleanly this time. Jumping into doing hyperspin and integrating it into my current ROMs and current emulators will be a lot easier than if I was to try it or rebuild this machine. So I'm excited about that. That'll be awesome. But yeah, you should definitely check out my Mavericks Hideout channels as well. The only VR thing I want to really do on this channel, because I wanted to make sure, I made that channel because I wanted to make sure to keep this one retro arcade games and stuff like that. And on the Twitch, I'm thinking I might stream some retro games, like playing King's Quest, and Sierra, and stuff like that. I was playing Mean Streets and Police Quest, and I finished those 2. But I created Mavericks Hideout, but the one VR thing I am going to stream on Mavericks Arcade is going to be once I've got my arcade, my virtual arcade set up, and it's actual like an old arcade with the carpet and all that stuff, and you actually can set up stand-up machines all over the place, and then you load the graphics to them and you load the ROMs to them. In the VR, you can actually walk up to them, reach down with your hands, and play with the controller. So it's kind of neat. So I'm gonna set that up as well and demo that on a video. So that will be fun. But as far as tonight goes, yeah, I think I'm gonna go and pack it up, build that other machine out, and then play a little bit of Poker Stars VR and go to bed. But tomorrow night, the wife's gonna be out of town, so it's gonna be just me and the kids. I'll probably let them stay up a little bit, and then I said I'll be streaming some VR tomorrow. I appreciate you hanging around and watching, Mr. Lord, and like I said, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow night, and hopefully I'll get caught up on my backlog of email and other stuff. Get this channel growing again. I've been a little bit lazy, and I want to stop that and get this stuff set back up. So, take it easy, guys, and thank you again for watching, and there will be actual more videos coming soon. So, thanks again.